this is Bridget Lynn Dolgoff, and I'm coming to you live off the Project Camelot TV network. Today you're watching Consciousness of Economics, which is a TV show that I do once a week at 4 p.m. Pacific, live on Thursdays. You can find all of our archived shows on the Project Camelot TV network.com or the Project Camelot portal. And today I have a super fun guest. I thought we would probably do more talking than we're going to do, so I'm just going to let him kind of do his thing through the show. So whatever he wants to do, he can do, and we're not going to have any constraints, and he's just going to go with the flow and feel it and do it and get it done. I originally met Aidan McIntyre in Reno, Nevada. He came to a tour in the United States as a gong master and went on tour with other gong masters. And I was involved with someone who knew him, and we actually put together a show at an organic mattress store that had like 50 mattresses. We filled all those mattresses for the gong bath, and we filled all of the places on the floor as well. It was packed. The one thing that I look at when I particularly choose guests is the power that comes from the work they do. And I'm talking like a shamanic power that shifts and changes our reality. And Aiden is one of those people. During the gong bath, and let me give you an idea of what a gong bath is. You basically lay on a mat with a blanket and you conk out, relax, get into it. You take the top of your head while you're laying on the ground and you point it towards where all the gongs and the singing bowls and all of the instruments are kept. And the person doing the gong bath puts on a show, an energetic show that helps to clear people, change people. So halfway during the show at the organic mattress store in Reno, it's, Aiden's really going for it. Everything's rocking. We're all vibrating, it was awesome. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we hear, and the storm came out of nowhere. There were no clouds. There was no bad weather. And that's the kind of power that I talk about in shamanism, is that kind of power that comes to you based on what you're doing. And anything that you do can be change energy fields. So we had a huge monster rainstorm and thunderstorm going on simultaneously for the rest of Aiden's performance. And it has to be one of the most magical things on my top 10 list of things that happened that I did. So with that, I'd really like to introduce Aiden and let him give you a little bit of feedback about his life and how he got to here. So go ahead, it's your turn.
Well, thank you, Bridget. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you great.
Oh, perfect. I remember that evening. It's a mattress store. It was a bed shop, if I remember rightly. They sold beds. Any of you out there who do gong baths, and there are more and more people who are doing gong baths and sound journeys in the United States, contact your bed shop and ask if you can do a gong bath in the evening there. It was an excellent place to do a gong bath because the beds are beautiful and ready to go. Of course, the owners cover them with clean sheets and everything, but they're ready to go for a gong experience. Everybody does a gong bath differently, and I actually like it when people have their feet pointing to the gong, but if you prefer, you could also point your head to the gong. So that was a great night, and I think Judy Strauss, she was also, it was her event, and she invited me to do this event with her.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, Don Conroe, Tom Soltron, myself were traveling across the States and to Australia, and we went to India and Dubai that time too. And Reno, Nevada was a little sidetrack for me. But it was a wonderful place, and I really enjoyed it. And the thunderstorm, well, what can you say? It just came out of the heavens. One should never really try and compete with a thunderstorm. Even the gong, I point to the gong, it's behind here, this sheet here, I'll take it off in a second. It's the most powerful instrument probably in the world. But you don't want to cock a snoop at God. And to play in a thunderstorm, it's a strong experience. So, having said that, before we go on with this interview, this is the first such interview I've done, and it's way past my bedtime, I must say. Here in England, it's after 11 o'clock. In California, you have 4 o'clock, I think, after 4. So I know you're not ready to go to bed, but perhaps you can all enjoy this time we're together, listening to the instruments I have in my gong therapy room. Now, before we do this, Bridget, and I would like to invite you, please, to join me in a greeting, which, as a gong player, we do before the events, before the Gongbaths, or before the concerts. And it's a beautiful greeting. It's an official greeting of the United Nations. To do this greeting, you need to free your hands. Good. It's a call and response. So I will speak and then you repeat after me. Okay? It goes like this. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
All wisdom flows from a higher source.
One more time. What was that one?
All wisdom flows from a higher source.
All wisdom flows from a higher source.
And I honor that source in you.
And I honor that source in you.
Let us work together.
Let us work together.
For you are my own true self.
For you are my own true self.
And I am another yourself.
And I am another yourself.
And together we are one.
And together we are one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank
Beautiful. Thank you.
This is a greeting which I encourage you to learn. It's on YouTube, and share with the children, especially if you do work in schools, which I do, and share it with everyone, in fact. It's a great thing. It's a wonderful greeting. It really brings people together.
Yeah, it opens your heart so that you're ready for this kind of work.
Yes, although this is it's not really light work, but it is really like my passion, but it's what I love to do. So what would you like to know, Bridget?
Well, I thought it would be nice if you give our listeners a history, just a brief history, kind of. Well, okay, so my producer, Kat the astronaut, is already asking questions, pumping me. Kat says he wants you to show the audience around. Can you do like a camera panoramic view of the instruments you're going to play?
I can do that. Unfortunately, my table is blocking a lot of them.
Okay, well, we'll wait for that. But how about we talk?
If you can wait, that will happen.
Okay.
Stay tuned, please, because I have 4 walls. Here's, you see one here. I'll take this off here for your producer. He can see the big gong.
Yeah, he's a visual guy. He wants to see the goods.
Here we have the universal.
Yeah, so what's the you want to talk to people about the universal gong? Since you're sitting there now?
Well, you know, every gong is the universal gong. The gong is the, you can have a planet gong, you can have a symphonic gong, there are many different kinds of gongs you can have. But they all have this universal sound, the sound of Om, the sound of Mother Earth. And as I said before, it's probably one of the most powerful instruments in the world. To talk about this one, physically, it's 40 inches, 42, 41 and a half or something. It's a one-of-a-kind gong, made by Johannes Heimrath and Walter Mayer together. And I love it very much. It's a very powerful gong for therapy gong. I have some other gongs and below here, you might not, can you see this smaller gong here?
No. I can see the top of it.
Yes, the below there is a little water gong, which is one of the sound creation series gongs, and that was made with a sound description so that it sounds a little bit watery. It's quite a fluid kind of sound. Then this is typically gongs like this, or tam-tams. This is a tam-tam, really. That's the real name for this gong. Whereas this gong here, can you see this one? Uh-huh. This has a nipple here. And that is the true gong. So this is called a gong, but this is the true shape of the gong with the nipple in the center. But we call this a gong too. This just has the rim that is curved at the edge here, which makes it, it's called a tam-tam. And I have a few more gongs, but this is a small enough room, and what with my table and the computer, I just have 4 gongs at the moment to show. 5. I have a moon gong I'd like to show you later in the other.
What made you interested in playing the gong? What happened? Was there an experience that was tied to that? Your beginnings?
Yes, there was indeed. I've always loved music, always, all my life, and making sounds has been something I was into as a child, with drums and whistles. But I didn't really come into contact with the gong until 1993, when I was in Mount Shasta at the Ascension celebration. They had a 7-day festival there, where they invited many people from different healing kind of modalities, and there were chiropractors and crystal healers. There were the Reiki and the Kundalini and the Gestalt therapists, many different therapists, and a lot of, as you imagine at a festival, booths where people sell crystals and things like that. It was, let me see, the Simpson celebration. It was all in the open air, as everything is in California. You're lucky like that. So I brought my hammock and my dog, and I strung the hammock up right close to the stage, to the area where the different therapists were introducing their workshops. And it was a chance to get a taster of different people's workshops. I was asleep in the hammock, and I heard this sound that I never heard before. And I thought, what's that? And I looked up, and there, in a clearing where the people were lying down on straw, was a man with a gong. And he was waving the gong over the top of the people who were lying down. Well, I thought this looked very interesting and fascinating, and certainly the sound got my attention. I'd never heard anything like that before. So I left the comfort of my hammock and my dog underneath there, and walked over and sat under a tree very close to where the people were lying down. Well, I was breathing in the air, the good air and the good sounds. It was quite nice under the tree there. It was very comfortable with my eyes closed. And slowly the sound was coming towards me until it was right in front of me. And at that moment, when Don Conroe was playing the gong in front of me and I was sitting under the tree, my body just melted back into the tree, and my hands became roots, and my body merged with the trunk, and I just became this glowing white light, just glowing from my solar plexus, streaming out. I literally disintegrated into the tree and just became this light. During the time that Don was playing, waving the gong in front of me, I kept my eyes closed, and I just felt this fantastic feeling. It's like the cells in my body were activated. It was like pins and needles all over almost. So, and then of course, Don walked away and carried on with his little performance. I was blown away. I couldn't move. It just was a life-changing experience for me. So, after a little while, I managed to get up. And in those days, you go and buy the tape. I bought the cassette. Had to have something. Had to have something to take back. But luckily, Don played every night at the in Mount Shasta and Lake Siskiyou. There's a beach, and there was a stage there. And every night, before the music started for the evening, Don would announce the music with a beautiful gong crescendo. So that told everybody in the festival, come to the stage and listen to the music. Wherever you were in the forest around, in the shops or wherever, you could always hear the gong. And I would run to the stage and see, and it was just finished. I did catch it once. So that was the beginning, really. That gong really changed my life, and I brought the cassette home, and then, of course, you want a gong. You want to be able to do that for yourself, to have this beautiful, enlightening, amazing experience for yourself. So then started the journey, my journey with the gong started with that experience, and coming home and then thinking, how can I recreate that experience for myself?
And now your whole house is beautiful healing instruments.
Yes, that was 1993. I did have a long journey to find my first gong, though, but I didn't know, as many people don't nowadays, because they make so many, what kind of gong do I need for myself? What should I buy? And lots of people struggle with that in the beginning. Lots of people do. So I needed to listen to all of them. It's expensive. It's an expensive item, this gong. Any gong. Well, this is, but even smaller ones are expensive. And I wasn't a rich man, so I called Paiste. I said in LA, in La Brea. I spoke to Eric, I think. I said I would like to buy a gong, but I'd like to come and listen to them. And he said, "Oh, no problem. No, we have all the gongs here. Just come down to LA. You can listen to them. We will hang them up for you on a stand, and we can take them outside into like the parking lot, and you can try it out." So that surprised me. I said, "No, I would like to try many gongs to choose the one that's actually for me, that I resonate with." And he said, "Well, we can take a couple outside. You can play." I said, "Isn't there a showroom, a place where you can walk in and they're all hanging, where you can try them?" He said, "Oh no, we don't have one here. That's in Switzerland." Well, I'm a Taurus, and I like to get to the crux of the matter.
You want Taurus? Taurus wants what they want.
Well, I really wanted to hear them all before I put down £700 or $1,000. So at that time, I had a friend who was teaching ceramics at Berkeley University, and she bought a chateau in the south of sort of France anyway, and she needed help to restore her chateau. And I'm a painter and decorator by trade since I was 15. And restoration, I love that, restoration. So I combined a visit to the chateau to do some restoration to a trip to Switzerland, where I knocked on the door and said, "Hi, I'm Aiden, I want to listen to your gongs." Yeah, they were very kind. Paiste, it was Thomas Paiste. He lived there in Notwheel, and his son Michael Paiste. But Thomas was sick at the time, so he told his son to let them in the gong studio, let them go and play the gongs for as long as they want. It's okay, it's fine. So me and my French friend, we went downstairs and we spent the whole day there. And even we got taken to lunch by Michael Paiste too. And I made a recording of every single gong, 5 minutes of every single gong. And that's what I took back to California and studied. And then I called up Paiste in LA and said, "Okay, have you got an earth gong and a moon gong sound creation?" And sure enough they did. I drove to LA and picked them up and drove back. And that was the beginning, really. But I miss out one crucial thing. These gongs are very expensive, as I said before. And I was very impatient when I got back from Mount Shasta. And so I had to have a gong right away. It was like, it's a must. I had to have a gong. So I found a music shop in Santa Cruz, and went to the music shop, and they had gongs, little Chinese gongs. The Chinese gongs are the little flat ones. They're called fen gongs. They're flat, they don't curve at the edge. I thought it was terribly expensive. It was £175. Good dollars. And it was only 18 or 20 inches in diameter, which is quite small. But I had a gong finally. And then I put that gong in my car with the mallets every day, take my dog to the local cemetery where we run around, and I hung the gong in the cemetery on a dead tree, and every day I'd wail on that gong.
That is the coolest, you know, thing. I'm sure all the people who are still living after were really excited about your live performances there in the cemetery.
Well,
I love that.
There's no one to wake up there. It's quiet.
Right.
And I was in an area which was kind of abandoned. But that's not really it, because that gong never sounded the same. It never did the same for me. As I experienced in Mount Shasta, that little Chinese gong was not the gong that was going to change my life. But it did in its way. But I wanted to have that same experience that I experienced in Mount Shasta. So I get on the phone to Don Conroe. I said, Don, I had this incredible experience in Mount Shasta. Thank you for that. But I went and bought a gong, and it sounds nothing like the gong that you have. I said, it's a Chinese gong. He says, oh, he says, you need a Paiste gong. Now, he was playing a 28-inch Paiste symphonic. So that's what set me on the path to eventually to La Brea, to LA, and to Switzerland, to search out the right Paiste gong that was for me. That was the beginning.
So is this gong here, has this one been with you for a long time? Is this one of the original ones you bought, or is it a...
No, the one over here, the earth gong, is the same as the one that my original gong, my original earth gong, Sound Creation Earth. This gong, I've only had it for, let's see, 2000, maybe going on 10 years. Possibly.
So you build a relationship with them. You know, one of the things that I noticed when you played them, because we had this huge rising in Reno, Nevada of Gongbaths and stuff like that. I mean, we had a lot of people doing them. But when you came and you played, it was like you were a blind man. The way you played it, and the way that you learned how to touch it, and touch it with different things, not just gongs, to make different sounds. But the way that you touched it was like you just knew like every intimate part of the gongs that you brought, and that always like really interested me, because I figured, you know, you have to build a pretty good relationship with the gong in order to be able to touch it, you know, in different ways, and you know what you're going to get and how it's going to respond.
It's not quite like that, Bridget. Really...
Well, I'm not good with music, so
it's nothing
anyway.
Nothing to do with music. This is just sound, and a little child can play the gongs. Many children have played these gongs. I'd take them to assemblies and give them a mallet. And I've worked with some special needs children, and they strike the gong, and they just strike the gong, and an orchestra of sound emerges from the gong. And I feel they are as amazed and as inspired as I am. Now, it doesn't take... You see, the thing about the gong is that it's more about listening than it is about you playing. The gong and the sound of the gong, it kind of breathes. You strike it, it breathes in, it breathes out the sound. It's a kind of organic thing, and you never really know what it's going to do when you strike it. You can have an idea, but if you go to a gong and say, okay, I'm going to make this gong do a certain thing, then you're playing it wrong. The thing about the gong is it should play you. So you strike the gong and you listen and you have a conversation and you play in the now, in the moment, what you hear. It's like a call and response, if you like. You strike the gong, it speaks to you, you speak back. You might take a different sized mallet and say, okay, I want this sound. Or you have a large mallet which will give you a deeper sound. So there are infinitesimal kinds of sounds that will come from the gong, depending on how you play it.
That is like the most beautiful explanation.
Well, it's an absolutely mind-boggling, beautiful instrument and transformational instrument. It certainly transformed me when for that few minutes that it was played for me, and it continues to too. It's a transformational, relaxing, it takes away all the stress. Everybody should have a gong. Everybody. Nobody should be put off by, oh, I can't play, I'm not musical. Because this is all about living sound. Tone, living tone. It's
wow.
a living movement.
So one of the things we were talking about, because we were talking about, kind of where we wanted to go on the show. And one of the things what I liked is I think you called yourself an architect.
Did I?
Or, well, we were talking about in the context of that you play the gongs and facilitate, or an architect of it, and not so much, like a science.
I remember. I said I'm more a craftsman than
craftsman.
Than a mathematician.
Yeah, can you explain that? Can you give a little bit of a definition of what you mean by that?
Well, if you like, there are different levels of understanding of one's trade, if you like. Now, gong master is a very highfalutin, rootin' tootin', handle, if you like. Oh yes, I'm a gong master. It's very grand, yeah. And if you are a true gong master, you have a lot of things to live up to, and it's a lifetime's work. But before you get to the stage of master, in every trade, in every profession, if you like, you've got to start somewhere. So in my trade, a painting trade, you begin as an apprentice, and then you move up as you learn more. Maybe after 5 years in an apprenticeship, you can be like a journeyman. You have your own instruments, or you have your own tools, and you can go to different places and offer your trade, offer your skills to people. And then from journeyman, you move up maybe to a teacher, and you're teaching the apprentices how to do the job. So although I know a lot of people call themselves masters, but there's choir master, there's postmaster, there's master painter, master carpenter. It's just a handle. One shouldn't get dazzled by your own brilliance. You have to be humble to play this instrument that's so transformative, and it can really help people move on to get over obstacles in their lives. So I approach it as a learning experience all the time, everything. I'm always a student.
Right.
You know, I've not reached that place where I can just say, oh yes, no problem, I know what I'm doing, and the gong always surprises you. And the sound therapy in general, it's an amazing field and very popular right now. Lots of people are getting into the sound therapy. I very much
like attending. I very much like being the attender and the witness for it. Okay, so you were talking that you have like 4 kind of sections that you might want to play. Do you want to do a sample now of one of your sections that you had in mind? And
could do that. I just a couple of things that I wanted to ask you. You say you attend the Gongbaths.
Yeah.
And when you do that, does anything? Do you work on certain things, or do you set yourself any goals, or why do you go to the Gongbaths? Or the sound baths?
Yeah. During well, I used to go to a lot of them. I haven't really gone to too many now. I wish they were more, to be honest, in my area that I could go to. But I originally went to them because of Judy Strauss. I was the actual one who said, hey, how about we'll put you together. Your first gong bath that she ever did was at the mattress store that I helped get a gong bath there. And then I think she still plays them like once a month or something like that. And so that was kind of like my first experience with the whole thing. And then I just started going to them, and I moved more into kind of just allowing, trying to get myself in the present moment, in the present time, all stretched out on my little mat with my little blankie. And I would just try to let my consciousness drift and allow whatever needed to happen. Like if I had pain in my neck that needed to be resolved, or I was dealing with some emotional stuff, or I had a situation with another person I wasn't really sure how to deal with. So I brought lots of different things there. And then I would just lay there, and I would just kind of just allow it all to kind of dissipate and then reform. And sometimes it would take a couple days for, the structure of the components of the molecules and particles and cells to kind of reform. But they were always like shook out and cleansed. And there just was more options, they kind of opened up doors too.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with this word that you used, which is very good, and we use it a lot when we're talking to people before we play the music, before we play the sounds of the gongs and the singing bowls, is allow. Because you really, one really has to allow things to happen, and let go of your resistance. And let go of all your preconceived ideas of what you think it's going to be, or what it's going to sound like, or what is the sound, or where is it coming from. So,
and it's an amazing experience for people who haven't tried it. You can be in a room, probably the biggest gong bath I've ever been in. There were 5 performers simultaneously for like a solstice. And I don't know, I'd say there was like 200 people in the room. But it gets so vibrationally intense that there's points where you couldn't tell if there was another person in the room or not. And so you can still be in a room with lots of people, but you have your own experience with the vibrations.
And we always say there's only one gong master in the end. You can be playing the gong with many people, but in the end, you listen to the recording. There's just one. There's just one gong master, one gong.
That You know, I have to tell you that is one of the most interesting things about people who play gongs is that you can get lots of different, you know, levels of study, all in one room, all playing simultaneously, and it's seamless. You know, it's seamless. It all just kind of meshes together. It is a really interesting dynamic.
Well, of course, after you lie down, and usually we say to ask the people to find themselves in a comfortable position, and if they've got something that they're working on, if they have an obstacle in their life, or if they want to make something happen, or move something on, or if something's stuck in their lives, think of what it is. Think of something that is maybe blocking them from moving forward and fulfilling themselves to be a more fulfilled person. And think of that one thing that maybe they can dedicate this experience to, and say, okay, I would like this to happen in my life. And at that point, you can lie down and close your eyes, and like we said, like you said, allow the sounds and the vibrations to do their work. And that quietens down the chitter-chatter that goes on in your mind and our minds all the time. Little things like, oh, did I switch the light off, or what are we going to have for dinner, or where did I park my car? This just general chitter-chatter that goes on. The gong, after 90 seconds, just gets rid of all that, and all you're left with is this cosmic, if you like the sound.
Yeah, cosmic wave. You're left with a cosmic wave.
But that's the gong. It's a very cosmic instrument. It belongs really to the sky. This instrument here. This is the rain stick. This really belongs to the earth. I'm going to move the camera just a little.
Yeah, move us. Move us.
I don't know whether you can see, but...
Yep, we can see you.
We have a few things here that I use at the beginning of the gong bath usually. These are rattles.
Oh, you got a turtle one there. That's nice.
These are Lakota rattles.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
in the gong bath, especially if it's in a big city and people get very stressed before the gong bath, it's really a good idea to give them a little rattle therapy to break up that magnetic, that stress, that friction. And I use these rattles like that. Every person who is a sound therapist really must be able to play the conch shell.
Woo!
You can see the conch shell?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This is an Australian syrinx. And it's one of maybe the oldest instruments in the world. Maybe this is one of the first ever instruments that was used by man and womankind. But the conch shell, this is I'll show you a little closer.
Wow, that is so beautiful.
This is the Australian syrinx.
Yeah, look at that long tail it has on it, the bottom part. That's so beautiful.
This is the largest gastropod, not this shell, but this is the largest gastropod in the world. It grows to be super large. So this is the Australian syrinx. This is here. I take this on the road with me. This is Triton trumpet.
Oh.
Can you see that?
Yeah, Triton trumpet.
Triton's trumpet, yeah.
Triton's trumpet.
Triton being the god of the... I'll play. Now, if you can imagine, the gong is metal. It's earth and fire. The sound of the gong is in the air, and the conch shell completes the four elements of air, fire, earth, and water. And the gong sings.
It did.
You can hear it?
Yeah, it responded to the shell.
So the conch clears away, grounds, clears the air. It's an instrument really of exorcism, kind of instrument.
Really?
Moves a lot of negative energy.
Wow. I might have to get one of those.
Everybody should have one.
Yeah. I'll write that down.
So that's two things. A gong. Everybody should have a gong. Everybody should have a conch shell. Okay, so moving right along. You've seen these before, Bridget.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I did a bunch of meditating in my day. I've seen those.
The tinctures. They're a punctuation mark, really. One tincture should be slightly different sound than the other. Very, very close, but not identical. So that it sets up this kind of balancing of the right and the left hemisphere. So as you can imagine, this sound here, or these tinctures, this sound is a beautiful thing to do, to play at the beginning. It really, you can go away with the sound, you can travel with the sound, on the sound of the tincture. So, shall we continue?
Yep, you're on a roll. You just go ahead. Well, okay, so let me throw a question in for you. What was the most powerful moment since you've been doing gong baths that you witnessed? Or, you know, biggest healing or something that was just, you know, really stands out as a significant moment?
The most powerful moment.
Yeah, or significant, or you watched a significant healing take place, or you had a significant healing, or something miraculous.
Well, it happens often that you're doing a gong bath, and afterwards people would come and thank you and tell you thanks very much, the gong really helped. I feel, for the first time, I feel like the stress has all gone from me, or I felt like I was being embraced by my mother who passed away, and it's been very significant, this experience. This happens a lot. I could go back a few years to when we first started, Don and I first started to go to Poland, and there was a family and they had a little boy who had cerebral palsy, and he came to the concert and he just fell in love with the gong. He just loved it. He couldn't get enough of it, and they wanted to give him every opportunity. So every concert that we did in Poland, he was there in the front row, and we did some private sessions with this little boy who had cerebral palsy. And I really believe it was his healing, because he really I've not been in touch with him for 10 years, but his mother was amazed at the progress he made after the gong experiences he'd had. And I think maybe even she bought a small gong, but he just loved that sound, and he was a little bit clumsy and he couldn't walk very well, but over time he got better and better. So that was a really beautiful thing to see, that to be involved with that. But it happens all the time. Not once. Well, maybe I'll think of something before we finish, but not one really sticks out as being the show-stopping moment, I don't think.
Well, that's a pretty show-stopping moment. A little kid with cerebral palsy having an amazing experience. That's pretty big to me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it was amazing. And he kept coming and coming and coming. His parents just loved it, the fact that he loved it, and he got so much from it.
So we're at the 1 hour mark, and usually we start moving into, if you want to do some sound work, maybe for like 20 minutes or something like that, 15, depends on how much energy you have. But I'd be more than happy to just give the floor to you, and you can dazzle us with your amazing gongs. And
well, I think we'll move the camera.
Okay, move me.
Would you mind?
No, go ahead. So today, folks, instead of offering a spiritual practice, Aiden is going to offer you a little bit of sound healing. So, and we'll let him play as long as he wants. He's tired. It's really, really late there for him. And we are really grateful that he is including us in his beautiful sound studio where his gong magic takes place.
Yes, this is the Gong Magic Studio. We have some, it's a sound bath. it's like everyone experiences the sound bath in a different way. It's almost like there's a movie going around. You're lying in and absorbed in your own world, in your own movie. Sometimes the sounds take you back in time to when you were a child or a youth, or you're running in the woods, or you're swimming. These sounds are very evocative. But you go where you want to go in the end. A couple of years ago, I went to Patagonia, and I met up with a good friend of mine who knew the ranger who took care of the condors, and he kindly took us to see the condors. And while I was there, I collected some feathers.
Oh, yeah. No, those are beautiful.
The condor feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. What a gift.
And yes, I picked them from the ground.
Wow.
No bath and gong bath is complete without a singing bowl. I know I have a lot. You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot, though. One is enough, really. But of course, if you have a few and you like them, then you can do. You can place the singing bowl on the body, play it, and you can do a sound healing like that. Now, many people like to use the mallet to strike the bowl with. Like so. I use the mallet, but I also use the wand, which is made of wood. The advantage of using the wand around the bowl is that the sound starts from silence. So from no sound, the sound grows slowly. Now when you're working with bowls on the body, it's sometimes easier to use the mallet. But always remember that with the wand you can start from silence and build the sound and combine tones like that and play two singing bowls at the same time. So this is a small bowl. Gong. This is from Romania.
It looks like it's hand pounded or handmade.
Yeah, all the singing bowls I have are all over 100 years old.
Wow.
They're all antique singing bowls. The important thing when looking for a singing bowl is to find one with a long sustain. That's the key to a good singing bowl. I don't know whether, can you hear this?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Is it coming through?
Yes, really well.
Is it? Oh good, because it's just a little laptop I have here. So when looking for a bowl, always look for that beautiful, pure tone, that living tone that sustains a long time.
Can I ask you a question? What would be an indication for you that you would want to put the bowls on the person? Are there anything specific that people have illnesses that putting the bowls on them works better, you found?
Well, the advantage of the bowls when you have a client who comes to you for sound therapy is you can ask your client, for example, I'll show you, where am I? I've got the little mallet somewhere. Oh yes, here. So I would say, all right, I want you to choose a sound. For example, I would ring some of the singing bowls like here, and I'd mute it, and mute it. And I'd mute it. And your client might say, I love that sound. So this sound has had the right response for that person. Now, it's not that this bowl here is, well, how can I put it like this? In a way, you know what's good for you. It's about self-healing, really. And I offer this space for people to come and have a session. But I think they know really what they need. They just need someone there to help them find it. And if they would choose this bowl and say, oh, I love that sound, then maybe this is the bowl that one of the bowls that I would use on the body. Now they might say, well, I've got a terrible back problem, shoulder joint problem, or I have a knee injury. Well, this is when you can use this bowl on those areas, because your client has already said, this one speaks to me in a beautiful way. And if we can bring beauty to that person, if we can share that sound, then it's very possible that dis-ease that they're feeling in their back or their shoulder or their knee will dissipate. Now, I choose my own bowls too. I might ask the client to choose a couple, and then I use my intuition, my feeling, to find the bowls that would suit the specific individual that I think would help them, to put them at ease and help them with their problem. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it was great, actually.
So I don't have a bowl like for headaches.
Okay.
I don't have a bowl for headaches. I don't have a bowl for, backaches. It's just, it all happens in the moment with each person, specifically for them. It's a case of trying to extract from them, to get them in touch with themselves, their bodies, their feelings, and to get them in touch with it to such an extent that they know what they need. I need that. Yes, that's what I need. That's the one. So I try and do that with the bowls on the body.
I like it. I didn't get that treatment out there, folks, by the way. I just got the Gong bath. Aiden comes back to the US, I might have to have like a little sound treatment. Maybe I'll go to England one day.
Well, I travel all over the world. All over the world.
All right, so we're kind of coming into like 10 to 15 minutes and then probably come into ending the show. Is there anything else that you would like to present?
Well, let me move the...
All right, we're going on a ride again. Oh, I like this corner, by the way. I don't know. I like the vibration over here. I saw it a little bit earlier, but I kind of dig this corner.
This corner is the Gong.
Oh, is this where the Earth Gong is?
Yes.
Oh, the original. No.
Now this Earth Gong, is from the private collection of one of the finest gong makers in the world, Walter Mayer, who passed a couple of years ago. It's exactly the same as my original Earth Gong, but I did sell my original Earth Gong to one of my students. Jill Gosling bought it because I didn't need two. And this is very special because Walter was such a good friend of mine, and I got it from his wife after he passed. So I moved the other one along. You only need one gong really, but as a gong addict, I consider myself maybe a gong addict at this point. Yeah. So here we have the Earth Gong. And above here, a small 24-inch symphonic gong. doesn't have the harmonics that the symphonic has. It's got all over. It's beaten. You might be able to see the little beaten. Can you see that?
Is that from being played?
No, it's hammered all over.
Oh, hammered.
The entire surface is hammered. Whereas here, you have less hammering on this part and no hammering on this part. But this one has hammering all over. And that's its distinction. So the sound is an all over, mysterious, deep, all over kind of sound without any precise harmonics. Can you see me?
Yep.
Can you see these characters?
Yes, the Chinese characters.
Yes, they're Mandarin Chinese characters. It's you see it on the face of the gong. This is like this. You see them on the face of the gong. And translated, they're translated from the Mandarin Chinese. Roughly translated, it's the good shall come and the bad shall go. Now when the two characters are combined together, like in the gong and in the sound of the gong, you can say two characters together, happiness has arrived. Now a more metaphysical description would be the spiritualization of matter. So when the good comes and the bad goes, happiness has arrived. And with the gong, when you play the gong is the matter, and the sound and the effect is the spiritualization of that matter. So the sound of the gong, if anything, is profound and very centering, puts you in touch with spirit right away. With a gong, you get into the state of meditation almost immediately. Concentrating on the sound of the gong, it puts you into that place of no mind, if you like.
That's wonderful.
Well,
are those more singing bowls you've got there?
they're different types of singing bowls, yeah.
Oh, so what types are there?
Well, these are Manipuri, the ones at the top here.
Uh-huh.
Here, these guys. These are a flat singing bowl, shallow.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
It's a shallow bowl. This little one here.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
This is has more silver in it than the other ones. And these ones here, shaped like an elephant's foot, if you like. These are bell-like. This is one of the larger ones.
That last one's my kind of sound. That sound sounds good to me.
It's very deep, and these singing bowls also need to warm up.
Oh.
The more you play them, a little bit like the gong, the more you play them, the better they become.
Oh, yeah. I bet, because they'd start to heat up with the friction of playing them, right?
Well, yeah.
So it would help.
It's almost like the molecules, they get all aligned and in tune. It's like a violin, it needs to be played. Singing bowls are a bit the same. So here we have, I didn't realize the time was going to go so quickly.
Well, I know, it's nice when it goes quickly. You're like, that's what I always tell people. People always ask me, well, what will I talk about on your show? And I'm like, it'll go by so fast, you'll have to come back on again.
I see. So I'm going to move you again.
Okay, go ahead, move me.
So we go over here, as time is flying now.
Yeah, we have plenty, so just relax and breathe.
I thought you said there were only 10 minutes.
No, we have as much time as we want. I just try to keep things on schedule. So if you need an extra 5 minutes, we're okay.
Okay.
Wow, look at that. Oh my goodness gracious.
Here are some nice examples of large
Wow. Wow.
and some conch shells.
Wow. Look at that. Gorgeous. Wow. Wow, look at all those bowls. Amazing. Now this guy is serious. Aiden is serious.
I have a little bowl tower here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know what you can see and what you can't, but
I can see the shelf. I can just see the whole wall of all the bowls.
okay. So this is a largest and smallest one on cushions. You know, they're on cushions, little cushions. Here we have a hanging bell here. This is from Bhutan. Spins, a spinning gong, they call it. Yeah. I call it my peace bell. I'll play some larger bowls. These vibrations are feeling vibrations, so that you can actually feel them if you put your hand close to the singing bowl or the gong. You feel the vibrations in your body.
I can also feel them from here.
Yes, unfortunately the microphone is limited, but I'm glad it's coming across to you.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. It's nice. It's beautiful. All those bowls on there, they just look so beautiful. All shimmering.
Yes, yes. When you're lying on the massage table here, you're really enveloped in a beautiful holistic sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Holistic resonance. Really, the ultimate holistic resonance are the bowls and the singing and the gongs. How long do we have left? Because I'd like to play a little gong for you.
Yep, you know what? You just go and do what you want to do, and we will close up when you're finished. How's that sound?
Yes, okay.
Because I want to hear it.
You'd like to hear the gongs, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Okay.
Are you going to take me with you somewhere?
I am going to put you on the other wall.
Okay. Sounds good.
I have 4 walls here to choose from.
Okay.
So we're going to go on this wall.
Okay. Woo! Look at how beautiful that is. Wow. Wow. All right, people, taking a deep breath.
So, Richard, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Without being too personal, is there anything you're working with at the moment? Is there anything you want to make happen? Any obstacles you want removed? Can we dedicate this mini taste?
For me? All right. Well, I am just in a place in my life where I'm just really working with my attention to being in the present moment and allowing more. So whatever that conveys and becomes.
Yes, well, as we talked about, let go of all those resistances. And I know you're going to have your eyes open, but follow the sound and let that holistic resonance work its magic on those obstacles you would like to be removed. And we'll begin with a flumi, which is a round friction ball, like this. They're little small.
Yeah, that's you made like whale noises with those.
You can indeed. Now I just need my pallets. This one. This one. Yeah. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
Like a lullaby.
Like a lullaby.
I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you friendship.
With your friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
This is a little bird inside you're protecting. So, I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
That friendship comes from the heart. I offer you love.
I offer you love.
And this here is a cup of love. I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
All wisdom flows from a higher source.
All wisdom flows from a higher source.
And I honor that source in you. And you.
And I honor that source in you.
And you.
And you. And you.
Let us work together.
Let us work together.
For you are my own true self.
For you are my own true self.
And I am another yourself.
And I am another yourself.
And together we are one.
And together we are one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you. I just feel really blessed. I try to have guests on my show that most people will probably never see in the public, that I want to show people their wonderful, wonderful abilities and talents and studies. And you just really brought such a wonderful show today. This is going to be probably one that lots and lots of people will view and archive. And I hope that maybe after the first of the year, maybe into February, you'll come back on and we can have another discussion if you like.
Yes, and maybe go into more depth.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that the time went so quickly.
I know.
It really just took off. And
yeah, my shows do that. People are like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to talk about for so long time. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time to do everything I want. But this gives us a dialogue. People get to have a dialogue about you now, and they get to understand you and know you now, and they have a connection to you now. So now you can build, other shows that we have, you can have a lot more other things that you want to bring on. And also, I want to let me just mention a couple of things about you before we get ready to close the show. I want to kind of tell you, so Aiden McIntyre, you can find him on Facebook, AIDAN, last name McIntyre. And you can also reach him on his website. Let me get to that.
This is my email.
Yeah, gongmagic@yahoo.com. Perfect.
Yeah.
And also, you have 6 CDs right now. People can purchase them for you, and you will send them to them, right?
Yes.
And that's his website. So the 6 CD recordings that he has for sale. He has a Singing Bowls CD set, Gongs and Sounds CD. What is it? Quintessence?
No, this
CD.
This is the first CD. Can you read it?
Yeah, no, that's great. Hold on. It's good you can show people. kind of back it off a little bit so maybe we can see it a little bit. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, singing bowls.
It's most of my CDs are doubles.
Okay.
They have singing bowl on one CD and a gong bath on the other CD.
Yeah, I think I have that set actually from when you were here. That is a very, very good disc set.
Quintessence.
Okay, in quintessence. There you go. Perfect. I can see it now there like that.
Okay. This is like one CD is 33 different singing bowls, different tunings played together.
Awesome.
And the other one is a gong bath with the symphonic gong, and the symphonic gong and the sun gong is the gong bath CD.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the quantum transformations?
Quantum transformations. Yes, but I only have 2 copies left, so.
Okay, so don't everybody buy that one.
No, I only have 2 copies. And then there's this one here, which is Harmonia. Can you see that?
Yeah, that looks beautiful. Mm-hmm.
This is very beautiful. It's done in combined with the great, wonderful Argentine singer, jazz singer, Livia Barbosa.
Oh.
And her daughter, who's a singer also, a wonderful singer on Facebook too, Lucia Ramos. And it's gong, singing bowls, and voice.
Wow, I might have to get that one actually.
We go through the chakras. It's 7 tracks, 7 minutes long each track. And we use, each singing bowl we use is for the specific chakras, and then we have a few periphery ones around the one principal one, and it's the singing is it's sort of an amorphous wave of voice. It's a weaving of voices which is quite beautiful and very passionate also, being I know it's a new age CD, but it's for the chakras. But it's a really fine. I'm really proud of this, and Livia is such a fantastic voice, wonderful voice, and a therapist also, voice therapist.
So how do people find out or get on? Do you have a newsletter or a place where people can find out where you're touring at, or do you just put your touring on Facebook page?
I've taken to putting it on Facebook because when I lived in California for 30 years, and I had a webmaster, and when I moved to England, I think things started to go pear-shaped, as they say in England. And I haven't got myself a webmaster since. So my website, even though I love it, it's kind of tired because it's not got any bells and whistles, and it doesn't have any carts where you can buy things. So if anybody wanted to get my CD, they'd have to send me an email, and I would package it up and send it off to them.
Okay.
I hope by the beginning of next year to have them on Amazon and CD Baby. But you know, I sell singing bowls, and I sell CDs of my music, and I sell these singing bowl ones, which you play the singing bowls with. But it's all done really at the workshops through the students.
Mm-hmm. So how do people find your workshops? I mean, how do people know which ones you have coming up?
Well, at the moment, I'm just putting them on Facebook.
Okay. Do you have any coming up right now?
There's one in Salisbury that I'm working on. Is
that England?
Yes.
Salisbury, England? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a 2-day workshop with a Friday night total immersion, saturation in gong tones, gong bath on the Friday night, and a workshop on Saturday and Sunday. And that is up on Facebook right now.
Okay.
And
All right. So if anybody wants to know how to get in touch with you, mostly it's probably through Facebook to find out what the workshops are, where you're doing gong baths, and best place to reach you.
yes, at the moment that's what it is.
Okay.
And I should really tell you about these.
Yeah.
This is a very special aspen wood, and it's wonderful for the singing bowls. And I sell these for £15 each.
Okay. Do you make those yourself, or?
I do, yeah.
Awesome.
I do. I make these, and some of them I actually turn, like wood turning.
Ooh, that's awesome. Well, that's right, because you're a craftsman.
Yeah, I'm a painter. In fact, Donna said on more than one occasion that I paint the gong when I play.
That's how it looks like you're doing something more than just, playing it. You're doing something much more, feeling it up, whatever, but
I'm listening a lot. It's a lot. Remember, it's a lot about listening and speaking and connecting, getting into that intuitive space.
Yeah.
Space.
Yeah, you do just a super great job.
Well, thanks, Bridget.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to let you go. You can go ahead and hang up on this call. I'm going to finish up with the next 10 minutes at the ending of the show. And definitely I'll call you after the first of the year and see if we can get you back on.
Okay, we'll try and do that, and we'll try and be a little more, I don't know, go a little bit more into depth with some of the symbols.
We will look forward to it. What else you got?
The last thing we should finish with is the conch shell.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You want to conch out? We're good.
But I'm going to use the big one. This is the Australian syrinx.
Yeah.
This is the largest gastropod in the world. This one is 24 inches. And it sounds like the Queen Mary. The boat.
Okay.
So it's great to talk to you, and nice to see everybody else. I can't see you all, but it was great that you joined me. And I would like to thank you, Bridget, for inviting me. I'd like to thank, let me see, I'd like to thank, Judy Strauss for bringing me to Reno, for Dawn to introduce me to the gong, and for all the people who come to my workshops and buy gongs and are out there in the field now. I wish you love and much success with the gong therapy. Okay.
Much love. Thank you for everything. It was wonderful, wonderful. I really enjoyed myself today. It didn't even feel like a show. So it was awesome. And we're going to go ahead and let you go. And we'll connect on the other side. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great day. Go ahead.
Have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the autumn. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, that was Consciousness of Economics TV show today, and we had a spectacular guest, Aiden McIntyre, and like we said, you can further connect with him on Facebook. Let me spell that again just in case. AIDANMCINTYRE. Spectacular. I'd like to try to have people on my show that are doing amazing work, but not too many people know about it. So I kind of go for the people who, and like he said, he's never really done anything like this. He did such a great job. Isn't he just awesome? Anyway, we love all his all the things that he offers us today, and we just send him a lot of love. So if you want to reach Aiden, maybe, you know, do some email messaging, get some of his amazing discs so you can lay in bed at night and listen to some amazing healing sounds. And every once in a while, he comes and tour in the U.S., and he's in tour different parts of the world with the other 3 gong masters that he plays with, usually on tour. And I just want to remind everybody that at the end of the show, there's a prayer that we're going to roll. And also, there's also information, a bio about me, and there's also contact information on how you can donate to me for the show and for a lot of the other work that I do to try to keep me on the road traveling and getting a lot of the ceremonial work and healing work done. And also, if you want to book sessions, there's some information there about booking some sessions with me. And yes, I do work long distance by Skype video call, so that's not a issue. Anyway, so from me, and also I always want to thank my producer, because none of this would be happening if it wasn't for him. And so big, huge hoot hoot for Kat the astronaut, my producer, and all of the wonderful things that he does and helps me do, and helps me to be able to bring amazing people who are doing the work below the surface of what everybody sees in the mainstream. I think that is it. I would like to invite you to try to find gong baths, maybe look for gong baths on the internet and try to find some in your area, and not just take yourself, but get a few tickets for a whole party and get a van and everybody go together and have a magical healing and journey that you'll never forget. So anyway, this is Bridget Lynn Dolgoff of the Conscious Economics TV show. That's on the Project Camelot TV network, and we are live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And we again want to thank Aiden. He was up at 11 p.m. so it's like maybe 2 in the morning now there. So big hugs, Aiden. Mwah. Big hugs to my producer, Kat. And thanks so much. And have a great week till we see you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.